This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream. Chocolate and vanilla ice creams with chocolate brownies and chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough. I bought this on sale for €4.99 at my local Globus, and I thought I just have to pick it up for that price. I always like it when these more expensive premium ice creams are on sale. This is always a great excuse for a video. Let's take a look around the pint itself, how it looks like, the bottom of it, charge number and all that good stuff. I will zoom in on the ingredients list right here. Pause if you want to read it in German, and pause if you want to read it in French, and pause if you want to read it in Dutch. Let's take a quick look at the nutrition table at the bottom right here. Looks like a nutrition table. 465 milliliters and 406 grams. I've heard people call this their favorite ice cream before. I myself have never tried this before. Not on camera, not off camera. But I always like to try new ice creams. And I like to see that the ones I am supposed or going to try are good. I always like to hear that. Sometimes things turn out a bit more bleak than that. I've grabbed my trusty yellowy IKEA cutting board, and we're going to cut into this packaging real quick. We have to take off the top first, right? Because these ones right here, it looks alright actually. Got some darker ice cream. Oh, those are the ice creams. We've got apparently that lighter and that darker. Vanilla and chocolate ice creams. So let's do a little obligatory cut. Yep, it hasn't been out of the freezer for too long. That is for sure. Some would say certainly not long enough. I think it's alright. I'm going to take off the top right here and slice, I'll take the halves apart. Yeah, it looks alright, I guess. It reminds me of Chinese marble. You always got these little blobs in there. We've got a big air pocket at the bottom, which is unusual. So, which one are we going to take a closer look at? I think this one, because this has got the ingredients list on the back. Alright, this one's going back into the freezer. I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, I'm back at the desk, slightly out of breath. All those ice creams do take their toll at some point. So let's take a look at the ice cream itself, ice cream base. The chocolate one is, I think, the first one we are going to take a look at. Yeah, this is nice. So I think the last Ben & Jerry's I had was one of these non-dairy ones. Those aren't really creamy. This one right here is the positive opposite of that. Very nice and creamy indeed. Smells like chocolate ice cream. Let's see how it tastes. Yes, and it certainly tastes like chocolate ice cream as well. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of like chocolate ice cream and chocolate milk, but this one right here is fine for that matter, even for someone like me. Let's take a quick look at the vanilla ice cream base. The vanilla ice cream base, especially as a contrast to this chocolate one, does taste really good, I have to say. At least the first few spoons of it. Pretty decent. Tastes very much like, more than I expected, like vanilla. Usually with vanilla tasting ice cream, it's always, you know, you tend to forget what vanilla is really all about. But when you've got this contrast right here, it's quite pleasant. Alright, enough of the base ice cream. Let's take a look at one of these chunky, what are they called? Chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough. I think this is really all it with the brownie piece that we're going to take a look at in a second. Yes, it very much looks like a chunk of cookie dough. And it very much tastes like one as well. Quite decent actually. Reminds me just of regular, you know, cookie dough stuff from Ben & Jerry's in ice cream. I missed like a classic cookie dough ice cream. I usually only buy ice cream, especially these more expensive Ben & Jerry's ones, for videos. So the only opportunities I have for these cookie dough ice creams is on video, and the last one is quite a while back. at least when it comes to the regular ice creams and not the fake ones. So let's take a quick look at the brownie piece right here. Yes, the brownie piece tastes decent as well. So I think we've taken a look at pretty much everything that is supposed to be in here when it comes to the individual components of this particular ice cream. So I'm going to finish off this half and I'll give you my verdict in just a second. The consumption process is complete and I'm ready to give you my points overview regarding this particular product. Unfortunately, I can't really move all of these things because there's all sorts of melted ice cream under it. It doesn't look very appetizing. Anyway, first impression was very decent. The distribution when we cut open the entire ice cream of the individual components was alright. I think they maybe could have done something a little bit different with the distribution of those cookie dough chunks, but the rest of the entire thing was looking good. The very top was looking good. All the other things, the mix of the vanilla and the chocolate ice cream was decent as well. I really enjoyed that first impression, I have to say. Color-wise, same story. Nothing looked off color in any way. The chocolate ice cream looked just as expected. In contrast to that, the vanilla ice cream looked quite a bit lighter than I would have thought at first. But then again, when you've got these contrast things, you know, look a bit different compared to something that is essentially almost the negative of itself. So yeah, that is something that I must keep in mind when thinking about that. Consistency and texture wise, I have also got nothing to complain when it comes to this particular ice cream. The ice cream itself was nice and creamy, very different from the non-dairy Ben & Jerry's ice cream. That's not so great at all, more of a miss than a hit with those things. This one right here, a very decent example of what they are capable of when they do what they always did, just making very good diabetes cream. I really enjoy the consistency of this thing. The chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough were very decent as well. These you know, cookie dough pieces in ice cream, that is something that got very popular over here with Ben & Jerry's. I do not think that that was a thing before them. And they do these excellently. Really enjoyed it. Taste-wise, overall, I have to say that I'm actually surprised how well all of these things fit together. When we keep in mind what Ben & Jerry's and some other companies are doing in the past few years, just mixing all sorts of stuff together that usually doesn't really go well and you get a somewhat subpar product that you only buy once. This is the complete opposite of that. It is much simpler than many of these fancier, overboard going ice creams. You just have two different flavors of ice cream and you've got these bigger, surprisingly big actually, chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough. Yes, that's what that's what it is called in there, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. Nothing tastes off. There is no aftertaste. It overall is just very enjoyable, and if this kicks off my diabetes, at least I was happy doing that. Up to this point, I haven't really mentioned the brownie pieces in the aftermath of the consumption process. They have been alright. They weren't really prominent. They certainly weren't marching on the stage of the tongue too much with those larger cookie dough pieces. Those were very prominent. They are big, you can spot them easily, almost like little chocolatey moons swirling inside that ice cream. Very enjoyable. But the brownie pieces were a lot more subtle. They could have been a bit darker in color and in flavor, I have to say. They could have been a bit more chewy, but that being said, they really didn't detract anything from the entire picture of this particular ice cream, so I can't really, say anything bad about them other than, they didn't ruin it. Theme realization wise, therefore, this is very close to an almost perfectly executed ice cream. I now do know why some people say that this is their favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and I can see why they say that, because this is quite good actually. So on a scale from 1 to 10, this particular ice cream gets an 8.93. The only thing, like I said, were the brownie pieces. They could just, remove them entirely, and I do not think I would have noticed much. Maybe it would have even been a bit nicer. But that's just one reason why it doesn't get full points in the theme realization section. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.